Welcome to the channel, folks. Mr. H here. We're talking Alita Battle Angel. Now, I often get told or accused of being overtly negative about things. Now, I just like to think I'm pushing an alternative narrative. However, let's take a look at this article and how just being a fan of something now makes you incredibly negative. So for everyone that accuses me of just being critical of things, apparently now being a fan is being negative. The Cult of Alita Battle Angel. Alt-right parable or neglected classic? Now, if you haven't seen Alita Battle Angel, it's a great film. It's really, really good. It's a lot of the fans of the Alita manga will probably say that it's not a great adaptation. That's fine. I know some do. But from me, as a movie reviewer, movie critic, I really enjoyed it. I thought it did what it wanted to do, and I thought it did what it wanted to do with great success. It's a beautiful film, something which is a must-see, I think. I personally, in my review, I said it was a touching film because I thought it was. I thought it was genuinely a touching film. However, people just can't get away from it. When it was initially released, there were articles slamming the body type of Alita, which is insane. Absolutely insanity. Why are we slamming the body type of a combat android? The mind boggles. And around the same time, you had the likes of Brie Larson coming out with Captain Marvel, and you have to compare the two because when you've got articles slamming Alita Battle Angel's body type, which I don't really understand the reason why, but then there's articles slamming people for judging Brie Larson's flat ass and inability to get in shape for the role of Captain Marvel. You do have to wonder where the agenda is. Where's the agenda lie there? So anyway, this article from The Independent, and we could barely call it an article really. Adam White, you scum. From 2 days ago. Okay, this kind of shot right past me, unfortunately, but I wanted to take a look at it now, here on the weekend. It says, in May, the official Twitter account for the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, so the Oscars, asked its followers to name the one movie they felt needed to be seen in a cinema. One Twitter user suggested Alita Battle Angel. Quite a lot, actually. This is, of course, James Cameron's passion project from earlier this year. Now, it says that it was an unusual pick, considering how rapidly the Robert Rodriguez-directed dystopian action fantasy, co-scripted and produced by Cameron itself, appeared to drop out of cultural consciousness upon its release in February. But it hasn't, though. It has a fairly strong fan base, to be honest. It's not really dropped out of cultural consciousness. And if anything, it's pieces like this which force it out of cultural consciousness. When we have articles consistently praising the likes of Brie Larson, and then articles consistently coordinated as well, attacking Alita Battle Angel for utterly no reason. For the same reasons you defend Brie Larson, might I add. And it didn't really, because it initially received unfavourable reviews from general, movie critics. But then it stayed on. It made way more money than it was expected. It made loads of cash. And that was because of repeat viewings. People loved it. So to say it was an unusual pick because it fell out of consciousness quite rapidly is very disingenuous. Really, really disingenuous. Because if you had any unbiased approach to this article, you would say, actually, that's a fair pick because it was slammed by critics, it was praised by audiences, so much so that it made a lot more money than people expected it to. And as a result of that, it's a right pick because not enough people saw it in theatres, but the repeat viewings and the word of mouth shows that people should have seen it in theatres. So if anything, this is actually the textbook right pick, surely, even if you just look at it like that. Now it says, but even stranger was a second Twitter account suggesting Alita Battle Angel is the film most in need of a cinema viewing. Why is that weird? Then a third, and then a fourth. There's fans. There are fans of this movie. Just like there were... Again, I question this. Again, let's talk about the agenda here. It's very, very clear. Brie Larson's Captain Marvel came out at the same time. Alita Battle Angel came out at the same time, right? There were bots upon bots upon bots of people defending, and fans as well, and fans of people defending Captain Marvel and Brie Larson, right? There are death threats from people, the Captain Marvel fans, Brie Larson fans, literally death threats to YouTubers who critique Brie Larson. That's utter insanity in and unto itself, and another video in and unto itself. But why don't we question those, but we'll question this? Why are we so hypocritical with this article? The bias and the agenda is very, very clear. Very apparent, in fact. Now it says the surge followed from there until thousands of Alita fans. Okay, so now we acknowledge that they're fans, right? Some with avatars depicting the cyborg girl herself swarmed the thread, determined to get the word out about a film they believed was cruelly snubbed upon its release. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? It's got a fan. It's got a fandom, right? What? And that unexpected Alita devotion, only unexpected to someone like you that clearly just hasn't even analysed the box office. It's not unexpected from anyone with a brain. A movie that didn't do very well at the box office or didn't get as many viewings as potentially possible and potentially warranted is the right pick. So the fandom would have seen that and gone, hell yeah, let's try and get the word out. Get more people to see this film. Absolutely. Now it says the unexpected Alita devotion has become more pronounced in the months since. Twitter accounts for sites such as Collider and Rotten Tomatoes have witnessed the same voracious Alita support. What's wrong with that? Why are we critiquing people for being fans? So much so that it's become something of a meme in itself, driven by the oddness of an incredibly vocal and mobilised fan community coalescing around something seemingly forgotten by everyone outside of it. But what's wrong with that? And what is not? Again, the agenda is clear. Let's look at Captain Marvel. Let's look at Alita Battle Angel. I have to compare the two because they came out around the same time. Both featured prominent female leads. One was defending one and one was attacking the other. So we have to compare the two. Now, these fans call themselves the Alita Army. They congregate on YouTube and Reddit and typically possess an oddball but undeniably sweet reverence for a well-made and at times genuinely fascinating movie. So you preface this entire article by basically saying that you don't understand the movie at all, but then say it's fascinating and well-made. Why didn't you say that at the start? Because you've got an agenda. But like most things on the internet, there is a darker and underbelly. The alt-right make up a not insignificant proportion of Alita's fanbase. Hold on one second. Hey Google, can you tell me what the alt-right is?
What kind of information are you looking for? Ask away.
What is the alt-right in Hold on. What is the alt-right in political basis?
Here are the top results.
Well, it's not going to tell me. But anyway, so basically, prominent alt-rightists were instrumental in organising the Unite the Right in Charlottesville, blah, blah, blah. They're Nazis. How is anyone an Alita fan a Nazi? People throw around this term, alt-right, so flippantly. It is now a buzzword. Alt-right is a meme in and unto itself. Whoever wrote this article, I forget your name, was it Adam? Adam White. The alt-right and the flippancy that you guys seem to use that phrase is the issue. That is a meme in and unto itself. Apparently, the alt-right make up a not insignificant proportion of Alita's fanbase. They are encouraged not to speak to fake news outlets about their love for the film, while others insist that a smear campaign funded by Disney to diminish its chances at award shows and earn middling reviews from critics has prevented the film from becoming the earth-shattering smash it should have been. What about any of that makes them alt-right? Nothing. Also, not to mention, when you write articles like this and the other articles, it's very easy to see how people would say that there is an agenda from Disney and critics. It's very easy. Both films came out at the same time. Captain Marvel, Alita. One was trashing one's body type and depiction of females for some bizarre reason. And the other was praising them and saying, yeah, if you don't want to wear makeup and you don't want to work out and do some squats for this film, who cares? What? Of course there's an agenda. It's there. It's right there. And even if there isn't, it's easy for people to come to that conclusion. But to say that that makes people alt-right is nonsense. You don't know what alt-right means. You don't have a clue. We should not use that phrase so flippantly. We really shouldn't. Because when the alt-right really does come up, oh shit me, you're going to be scared. They are not people to mess with. They are not. They incredibly unreasonable. They are not the sort of people. No. I just, honestly, you've got to get away from this alt-right bollocks. It's really not. It's not accurate. It's not. It's really disingenuous to use that phrase. So anyway, now it says, but look, it's just trash. This whole thing's trash. The article is just total balls. You know, it says that apparently the Alita army is part of this alt-right nonsense. Now it says, what many within Alita army won't do, however, is actually tell you why they love it so much. Because it's a good film. Earlier this month, a journalist from a US entertainment news site tweeted a request for Alita army members to share the reasoning behind their devotion, only to be set upon after an old tweet resurfaced in which she appeared to mock the fanbase. That's fair enough. If you're asking the fanbase to tell them why they love it so much, but they find something where you've mocked the fanbase, it clearly shows that there's a, you know, an untoward reasoning behind the initial request for why they devote it, right? I mean, that's again just logic. That's going to make people on edge and go, you've probably got an agenda here. You're probably going to twist our words. So why wouldn't they do that? I'm not saying it's right, but it's understandable at the very least. She was then made the subject of an 11-minute video posted to YouTube in which Alita fans were encouraged not to speak to her, or the press itself. Well, what's wrong with that? Why would you? Why would you speak to someone who mocks the fandom anyway? What's the point? Clearly they don't want to talk about it. Clearly they don't want to reason with these people anyway, because they mocked them. Mocked the fanbase. Now, after the journalist herself addressed it on Twitter and apologised to the fanbase, but they deleted the video, that's perfectly reasonable. They sound like reasonable people. You asked them to talk about their devotion, right? They caught you out, so they made a video about it. You apologised, and they deleted the video. They sound like very reasonable people. Quite reasonable, in fact. As fandoms go, very reasonable. Not like Brie Larson fans that threaten death and violence against people. I mean, where's the article on that? If the tactics used in the response from outlandish conspiracy claims to YouTube antagonism to the malicious targeting of a female journalist, wasn't malicious, was it though? It's literally just calling someone out. Now it says, feel familiar to anyone who has spent as little as 5 minutes exploring the modern alt-right. Again, that word, alt-right. Then you would be correct in spotting the crossover between the right-wing internet and elements of Alita fandom. For Alita, Battle Angel has been a battleground for society's current culture wars for much of 2019, and just as jarringly nonsensical an arena as much of it deserves. Unbelievable. Again, it was positioned as a right-wing alternative to Captain Marvel. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. No one said this is a right-wing movie. What are you talking about? How disingenuous is this? The latter was a lightning rod for aggrieved men's rights activists, alt-right. Again, alt-right! Internet figures and misogynists to express their respective rages at the world. No. It's when you have articles like this, which frame one as being great and one as the other, and all the other articles that came out, people just called you out on the nonsense. And then your go-to, which is a very, well, it's not an argument, it's not a rebuttal, it's just to go trolls. When someone doesn't agree with you or they point out your BS, you just call them a troll. No. You got found out. You done fudged up, bruh. With its proudly feminist marketing and star Brie Larson always eager to talk about the importance of representation in film and media, Captain Marvel was deemed pandering SJW crap by alt-right. Blah 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 blah. But then we got feminists attacking Alita. Where's the articles on that? Anyway, guys, I think I've laboured this point enough. Apparently, these people are all a bunch of alt-right lovers, and the Alita fan base are alt-right. No, they're not. If you haven't seen it, I genuinely would encourage it. It's a good film. And if anything, alt-right and people like that probably wouldn't like it. because it's mainly just about a love story. So it's not really their cup of tea normally. I genuinely encourage you to watch this film. It's very, very good. I think reports like this are utter nonsense. I think the agenda is very, very clear, but I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop them down below. If you're new here, hit subscribe. Make sure you like and share this video. Let's get it out there. Let's get the alternative narrative up, the rebuttals to this absolute pile of crap. Because that's what's important, right? These people have complete free reign of the internet. People see this legacy media as something which has to be bowed down to. We have to look at these things and say, yes, they're right. No, it's just an opinion. Let's get the counter opinion out there if you marry up with this opinion. Anyway, guys, I'll talk to you again real soon.